Welcome to News Briefs. Today is Wednesday, July 9, 2025. Let's go to politics. We start with immigration. There's a situation in California, right?
That's right. The California Attorney General, he's pushing for an immediate halt, calling it a federal militaristic action, specifically happening down in Los Angeles.
Militaristic action. That's strong language.
It is, and it really signals a serious disagreement between the state and federal authorities about, immigration enforcement.
Right. In L.A., he called it a direct attack on immigrant communities.
He did.
So what's the Attorney General's core concern here, really, beyond just the rhetoric?
Well, the main issue seems to center on these allegedly illegal federal detentions.
Illegal detentions.
Yeah. The state is arguing these are happening without, clear, reasonable suspicion,
Yeah.
which directly challenges the established legal procedures for federal agents when they operate inside California. It's really a fundamental question, jurisdiction, due process.
And the practical impact. What does this kind of tension actually do?
Well, clearly it's having a negative impact, not just socially,
Right.
creating fear, instability in communities, but also hitting the local economy. These actions, they can disrupt daily life, commerce, even public health, really, with all the stress and uncertainty.
So the tension's just ramping up.
Definitely escalating between state and federal government there, yeah.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit, but
Yeah.
stay on immigration. TPS, that's a big one.
Mm-hmm.
For a lot of listeners, temporary protected status, it's a lifeline. What's the latest?
It is a lifeline. And yeah, this is a huge issue for thousands. The termination of TPS specifically for Honduras has just been announced.
Just to clarify for everyone, TPS is.
Right. It's a humanitarian program, offers temporary legal residency, work authorization for people from countries facing, big crises, natural disasters, conflict, lets them live and work here in the U.S. until things get better back home.
Okay, so for Hondurans, when does this termination actually kick in?
The effective date is September 8th of this year, 2025.
September 8th.
And this decision, it impacts a really significant number of people. Over 72,000 individuals.
Wow.
People who've built lives here, often for, decades. Since Hurricane Mitch back in '98.
72,000. That's a huge number. What's the official reason for ending it now?
The justification they've given is that conditions back in Honduras have, quote, improved sufficiently since Hurricane Mitch. So that assessment by the federal government is what triggers the termination.
And I think I saw Nicaragua mentioned too. Are they included?
Exactly, yes. Same termination date, September 8, 2025. That applies to Nicaragua, too.
Okay.
For them, it affects about 4,000 people, give or take. And the reason given is similar. Claims of progress, recovery after Hurricane Mitch in '99. They specifically mention improvements in, infrastructure and the economy.
So what happens to their ability to work legally, their EADs, these employment authorization documents?
That's absolutely crucial. Their EADs, they are automatically extended.
Okay, good.
But only until that termination date, September 8th. After that,
Yeah.
well, without some kind of new legal pathway, they could face some really difficult choices.
And what options are they being given, after September 8th?
Well, essentially, they're being told to look for other legal avenues if they want to stay. Actually, there's a government program that stands out a bit.
Well,
They're offering a free plane ticket and even a $1,000 bonus.
$1,000.
Yeah, to sort of facilitate their return to their home countries.
$1,000 in the ticket. It really sounds like the official line emphasizes that TPS was always meant to be temporary.
It certainly does, yeah. This decision, it really underscores the government's stance that TPS, well, by its very nature, it's not a path to permanent residency. But for those affected, it represents a really profound disruption to their lives.
Okay, let's move to international conflicts now. The Middle East first.
Yeah.
That Iran-Israel tension back in June. How did that play out?
Right, that confrontation, it lasted 12 days. The good news, if you can call it that, is that it didn't escalate into a wider regional war. But it definitely had significant consequences, especially for Iran.
What kind of consequences are we talking about?
It seems Iran was left pretty vulnerable. There's talk of military weakness, internal fractures, within their leadership, and also a noticeable drop in popular support for the regime after the confrontation.
So, a weakening overall.
Seems like it, yeah. Domestically and regionally.
And what about inside Iran itself? Any internal repercussions?
Yeah, there were also reports of over 700 arrests inside Iran.
700. Wow.
The accusation being collaboration with Israeli intelligence. And it looks like the repression focused heavily on ethnic minorities, which kind of highlights the internal strife and how the regime reacts to perceived threats.
Right, okay. Let's shift to Eastern Europe, Russia and Ukraine. Still very active there, sadly.
Very active, unfortunately. In fact, Russia recently launched just a massive drone attack, said to be the largest of the war so far, more than 700 drones in just one night.
700 in one night.
Right. Yeah, it's an unprecedented scale. And it's the third time in only 2 weeks they've broken records for these nightly attacks.
What's the goal with that kind of massive assault?
It seems the objective is to disrupt weapons supply lines, the ones coming from the West. So they're targeting key logistical hubs. The city hit hardest was Lutsk.
Lutsk. Is that near Poland?
Exactly. Strategically located near Poland, which is, a major channel for Western aid.
Were Ukraine's defenses able to do anything against that many drones?
Well, they did intercept quite a few. 296 drones and 7 missiles were shot down.
Okay.
But another 415 drones either sort of disappeared from radar or were electronically interfered with.
Electronic warfare.
Yeah, suggests some advanced capabilities there.
And did Ukraine respond?
Yes, there were also Ukrainian drone attacks reported, specifically in the Russian region of Kursk, which is near the border. 3 deaths were reported there. So it indicates, a continuation of these retaliatory strikes across the border.
And amid all this, I saw the U.S. is adjusting its aid to Ukraine.
That's correct. The U.S. president approved sending more Patriot missiles.
More Patriots. That's significant.
It is, because it actually reverses a pause that had happened in delivering this type of critical air defense system. So it signals a renewed commitment, really, to boosting Ukraine's defensive capabilities.
Did he give a specific reason for reversing that pause?
He essentially just stated that Ukraine has to be able to defend itself, and he expressed frustration with the Russian president over the ongoing deaths and, well, the devastation the conflict is causing. It's quite a direct message about the human cost.
Yeah. Okay, let's transition to environmental news. The floods in Texas, a really difficult situation there.
Yes, very tragic. Recovery efforts are still ongoing after those incredibly strong floods in central Texas right at the beginning of July. The figures are just heartbreaking.
What are the latest numbers?
We're looking at more than 110 confirmed deaths.
Oh, terrible.
And still, at least 161 people missing, especially in Kay County. Search and rescue teams are there from various parts of the country, working flat out, providing really crucial support.
And the cause was just immense rainfall, wasn't it?
Exactly. Very intense rains, between 5 and 11 inches in places. It was associated with a meteorological system and the remnants of a tropical storm. That combination just overwhelmed the region.
But it sounds like there's some local frustration about how it was handled in the aftermath.
That definitely stands out, yes. There's frustration, particularly in Kay County, because there had apparently been previous discussions about setting up a flood alert system, but it just wasn't working when it was needed most.
So no effective alerts went out, or too late.
It's reported there was a significant delay. Apparently, firefighters requested a mass alert, but it was slow to be issued, and there's a particularly sad case involving a summer camp.
Oh, no.
Yeah, suffered catastrophic floods, several deaths and disappearances there. The really painful irony is that their emergency plan had just been approved days before this happened.
How awful. Just awful. And what about federal support? Is help on the way?
Yes, the U.S. president has already promised federal aid for the recovery, which will obviously be potential for the huge rebuilding effort that lies ahead.
Okay. Just to quickly round up some other news briefs from today.
Okay.
In sports.
Right. The FIFA Club World Cup happening in the U.S. Chelsea beat Fluminense yesterday. That sets up today's semifinal. Real Madrid versus Paris Saint-Germain. That's at MetLife Stadium.
And the finals soon.
Sunday, July 13th.
Got it. And cinema. Anything new?
A couple of things. A sequel to The Devil Wears Prada has been announced.
Really? With the original cast?
Do you like it? Meryl Streep, Anne Hathaway, Stanley Tucci, Emily Blunt all reportedly returning, plus the original director and screenwriter. They're aiming for May 1st, 2026, tentatively.
Wow, okay.
Also, a number of new films are hitting theaters today, including the new Superman movie and one called I Love Peru.
Busy day for releases.
Well, a lot of information today. Politics, conflicts, climate, sports, cinema, all connected in some way. Until next time.